I'm sorry, maybe it's just me, but I feel like I have a voice. I have my own thoughts, my own fears, my own concerns, and I don't believe in those who say they speak on my behalf. I don't believe in those that say they represent me. They represent us. They represent our fears, our concerns, that they fight for us. You know what? I could fight for myself, and I think that all the people out there have a right to take a stand on their own and not have to rely on others to do the fighting for them. We have a voice, and I refuse to accept silence as an acceptable solution. Does that make me wrong? Does that make me unpopular? Well, I'll tell you this, I really don't care. Do you really think I do this to be popular? Do you really think I do this to get a reaction? Do you really think that I do this because I want to be loved by everybody because I'm getting something out of this? No, I do this because I feel better saying and speaking my mind, saying what's in my heart, saying what's in my soul, putting out my own thoughts. This is not left versus right, right's better than left, left's better than right. This is common sense. And if that makes me unpopular, I'll tell you this, I really don't care, because I am not about being politically correct. And if you are about being politically correct, then maybe this isn't a podcast for you. This isn't a radio show for you. This isn't where you belong. But if you're somebody with common sense and sees through the lies and the smoke screens and the diversions and feels like they want to be heard and be a part of something more, then this is where you belong. This is where you are welcome with open arms to be a part of it. Yes, people, this is where I say things that need to be said without fear, without concern, and I don't care how others view them. I don't care how the critics feel or think or dissect my words. I'm speaking my mind because I'm an American citizen, and I have the right to free speech, and I'm going to utilize that right, and I'm going to execute that right as loud as I possibly can and as many times as I possibly can, because I'm a citizen of the greatest country in the world, and I believe that all of you have been lied to, misrepresented, and screwed over just like I have. So ladies and gentlemen, this is for you, this is for me, and this is for those out there that care about reclaiming the sovereignty of this great nation. This is for all of you who are ready to do more than just sit idly by and accept what we're force-fed, accept the lies, accept what we're told to be the norm. No. We will decide what's right for us. We will decide what's best for us. We will decide because we are the people and we have a voice. That's just my opinion. This is Voice of the People USA Radio. I am Daniel Smariglio, the president and founder of Voice of the People USA and Voice of the People USA Radio. This is my little daily podcast. These are my thoughts, these are my rants, and I assure you, they're not for the faint of heart. I will be explicit, I will be blunt, but that's just how I am. That's just how I roll, and that's what I do. With that, time to cut the crap and get to the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Voice of the People USA, Voice of the People USA Radio, and we are coming to you live on Spreaker. Time to cue the intro because I love it, it inspires me, and I hope it inspires you. Here we go.
Gonna take you down, deep down to the front line. You woke up this morning, got yourself
Good morning, everybody. I say good morning because it is after midnight, so it is a new day. And I figured, what the hell, right? Might as well do a early morning, late night, however the hell you want to term it, podcast. Because, as you all know, it's my form of therapy and it makes me happy. So therefore, I figured, why the hell not? So, with that, let's get this crap out of the way. You are listening to Daniel Spriglio of Voice of the People USA and Voice of the People USA Radio on Facebook, America Rising, and, of course, our illustrious fan page, Voice of the People USA Radio, found on Facebook. Even though I hate Facebook, I urge you all to please go there and hit that like button. Follow us. Stay in touch with what we do. And of course, we are on Spreaker. Well, I am right now. We're on Spreaker, of course. It is Spreaker.com/VOPUSA Radio. Feel free to click on there, hit the follow button, like button, leave messages on the wall, whatever you want to do. And as we did last night, we are back. We are back. Voice of the People USA Radio, full-fledged, has returned to its old stomping grounds, so to speak, of blogtalkradio.com/VOPUSA. Again, that's blogtalkradio.com/VOPUSA. Last night we recorded 2 hours live and a few minutes afterwards. They can be listened to in the archives, as well as all our old shows. And it was a pretty awesome experience, I think. I had fun. Obviously, we're joined by Mike Kirshner and Jose Baez, joined us with being our newest additions to the co-host pool, so to speak. Mr. Andrew Woodring was not present, though I hoped he would have been, but it just didn't work out, but that's okay. Andy, the VP of Voice of the People USA, will be back on the airwaves with me come the next show. And last night was a soft relaunch. I used that a few times anyway, because I want to try to feel all techie and smart and use appropriate terminology, because I am trying to up my professional credibility. Anyway, it's such a load of crap. I just wanted to use the term. Anyway, but next Sunday on blogtalkradio.com/VOPUSA, Voice of the People USA Radio will be doing its full-fledged relaunch, full press, full court, guests, more co-hosts, different segments, all that good stuff, so it will be fun, and I ask you all to please join us. That'll be a 3-hour live radio show that you are all invited to call in for, be a part of, join us in the chat room, etc., etc., etc. But what do we do here? For the long-time listeners, you obviously know, and this is old as my very long intro. This is Dan's Daily Thoughts and Rants on Spreaker, and we will be having the rotating cast of co-hosts, if you will, be doing their own individual podcast on here soon, which I look forward to, changing up a little bit so it's not just me all the time. But in this form, this, of course, is just me speaking into a microphone. For all of you out there, and yet again, we have live listeners, I thank you and I welcome you. And as always, I question what the hell you're thinking listening to me at this time or any time, but I am most grateful that you are. So, if you are on here, feel free to hit the little green button, the little chat button, say hi, check in, ask a question, whatever you want. But, always open. And This is my podcast where I just say whatever the hell's on my mind and talk about random things. And if you'd like to email me a question or a thought or an opinion, or tell me that you like what we do, or you hate me and hate what we do, or just hate me, or whatever, VOPUSA live@gmail.com. VOPUSA live@gmail.com. Send a question, send a thought, send an opinion, whatever you'd like. Always open, and I've received a lot of emails on there, especially as of late. And it's really, really cool that so many of you have actually taken the time to listen to these podcasts and listen to the radio shows, etc., and have really kind of found your way back for a lot of people who used to listen to us before our very long hiatus. And again, that was my fault, my bad. Life happens. But I definitely appreciate all of you taking the time to submit your questions and your thoughts and everything else that you have via the email. And I figured, I wanted to take this opportunity anyway to do something a little bit different. I can't promise you that I'm not going to yell and scream and get all hyped up, because it is kind of what I do. And I know some people have asked, why do I always sound so angry and sound like I'm ranting on here? And again, let me direct you to not the name of the episode, but the name of the category, if you will, that these little podcasts are found in. It's Daily Thoughts and Rants. Yes, rants. So I will unload on this microphone and everybody out there listening, because it's what I do, and I get angry and I get passionate about various things, and I do have a lot of frustration and a lot of energy, if you will, I guess is a good way of putting it. And there's a lot of reasons why, and there's a lot of things that go into that. And I don't know, I was asked a multitude of questions, if you will, from various people wanting to know why I do what I do. Why did we start? How did we start? For those who aren't familiar with Voice of the People USA, obviously Voice of the People USA is a registered 501c3 nonprofit, and myself, Andy, and Mike Dionise, we started it in 2007 here in Hazleton, Pennsylvania. Don't mind me just taking a drink and lighting my cigarette. Started Voice of People USA originally with the intent of a greater idea, a greater thought, and doing something different that wasn't being done. But ultimately, it had to do with the rallies being held that were pro-illegal and proud rallies. And I've made mention of this before, and, coming back into Hazleton and, seeing American flags being burned and things like that, and signs out there, illegal and proud, I got a little pissed off, and I wondered, where are the people standing up, supporting the rule of law and supporting doing things the right way? And through much, much, much adversity and a lot of trials and tribulations, so to speak, we rocked our first rally with thousands of people from all across the country in June of 2007 in Hazleton, Pennsylvania. And from there, we just kind of spawned and kept going. We've held numerous rallies in numerous states, all without taking people's money and, and begging and pleading. And the immigration, if you will, which I now lump to a national security issue, that has obviously been a very prevalent issue for us. And we've been labeled as simply just an anti-illegal group. Well, let me assure you and sum it up that we are not just an anti-illegal group. I support the rule of law. Everybody that we work with supports the rule of law. We support immigration, which makes us different from some of the other groups out there that do not support illegals, but also want to end immigration into America altogether. We are not one of them. We honor our rich ancestry. We honor all of those who have come into this country the right way and have been a benefit to society from everywhere across the world, that have wanted to come to America to better themselves and to truly live that American dream and create their own American dream, if you will. And that's something that we firmly support. I do not agree with those who come here illegally and basically rape and abuse the system and take money out of the pockets of you and I and get away with it and somehow became a protected class, if you will. I disagree with that, and I think many others do as well, as we've seen. We've been to numerous states. We've been to numerous towns, numerous cities, and we've met so many people. And Voice of the People USA, in a whole, we started out before there was a Tea Party movement, before there was anything like that. So we were kind of the, I don't know how you would say it, the underdogs, the not so popular kids, if you will. We received to Matt Patriot, I'm going to break my thought there. I left a comment on the Spreaker wall on Spreaker Radio. Well, sorry, Spreaker.com/VOPUSA Radio. Matt Patriot wrote, I am with you, man. Nice to see you back. And I want to say thank you so much for leaving that comment and for reaching out. And it is great to be back. And it's people like yourself that inspire me and inspire all of us to do what we do. So I love to do shout outs like that because I want to make sure everybody knows that I appreciate everybody that does reach out to us. So I just want to let you know that you guys following, whether you love it or hate it, means the world to me and everybody that we're involved with. So let me go back. I'm a little toned down, obviously, but Voice of the People USA, I started because I think and I know and I feel in my heart of hearts that there's so many people out there, more than just the left or right or the electorate, if you will, that have so much to say and have so many things that they endure and they see that's wrong in this country. And there's so many things that they want to address, but they never felt like they had a place to go to address them or to be heard, if you will. And that's why the rallies were formed. We wanted to take notice, that regular people can stand up and do regular things and create one hell of an impact by doing something so daring of giving regular people an open microphone and saying, speak, be heard, do not be a mute entity. And some of the things that we've done at our rallies is actually pass around a live microphone and let random people talk. And that's so cutting edge, right? That was so daring, and we got criticized so much for it because we should control the rallies. There is no control. There's enough control in this country, to say the very least. There's enough things out there that limit people's free speech, that limit their ability to go out and stand up and be heard. We said, screw all of that. We want to go where it matters the most, to where people live, to where they work, to where they conduct their normal lives just like us, and give them a chance to speak up, be heard, take a stand for something. And that's what we did, and that's what we do. And cigarette is lit. I am pro smoking. Anyway, we had a lot of great experiences, and as we continued going from Hazleton to Scranton to Hershey to Harrisburg and then to Morristown, New Jersey, and then the list goes on and on and on of all the places we went, we endured more and more hatred, if you will, and animosity towards us. And obviously you get the usual thing, you're a racist, you're this, you're that, you're everything. As I've said before, and I'll say again, I hate people who hate America. We don't give a race to anybody. Illegal has no race. All right? We are against criminal behavior, and we are far from racist, okay? I have no time, patience, or place for racist either, okay? So, but that's the words they like to throw out there to try to demean us and belittle us. But then it started getting bigger and wider, and the attacks against us started piling on hardcore. And I noticed early on that this was happening because with every single rally we held, more and more people were attending, and it wasn't just Republicans. It wasn't just conservatives. We had liberals, we have conservatives, we have non-voters, we had everybody represented, but started showing up more and more and more. And it was becoming something bigger. And it was a beautiful thing. I've always said if one person comes to a rally, you've achieved success because, you stood up and you fulfilled your obligation, and, you utilized your rights as a citizen of the greatest country in the world. And that to me is never a bad thing. But thankfully, we had tons of people show up, and I saw more and more the beauty of bringing people together, regardless of ideologies, bringing people together because they found common ground to stand up and embrace what was happening. And it was amazing. It was amazing. It's still to this day, all these years later, it gets to me. And Megan from Utah sent an email, and I'm doing a quick shout out there, asking, why do I, not Voice of the People, why do I, Dan Sperglio, why do I do this? Why did I start it? What prompted me? What did I take away from it? What's the most impactful thing? Is it for self-promotion, or is it something deeper? Not trying to be hateful, just trying to get to the bottom of it. Either way, rock on. I thank you for those words. And it's a fair question. It's not one of those hate emails or anything else. It's somebody wanting to know. And I want to tell all of you what I've taken away from it. What I've taken away from all those years ago to our last rally that we held was how powerful it is seeing people come together. How powerful it is when people feel empowered and they didn't have to give anything to be a part of it. All they had to do is show up, and they were heard and they were seen, and their concerns were addressed. And that to me is magic. When I go up there and I speak, I'm animated. I don't pre-write speeches. I don't plan things out in advance. I go out there and I speak from the heart. None of us go up there with pre-written speeches. That's not how we roll. And maybe that makes us sound completely crappy and completely unorganized and unprofessional, whatever. But I am not a millionaire. I don't even know what the hell you want to call it. I'm not some promoter. I'm not running some multi-million-dollar group. None of us are that. We're regular, everyday people just like you. We work. We barely survive. We try to provide. I don't have, wife and children. Andy does. And there's a lot of people out there that have been involved, that they have families, and it's such a real concern for them. And I figured the best thing we could do is honor, the sacrifices that have been made and are continuously made to uphold our rights as Americans. And that's what we do. We go out there and we speak. So at rallies, when we go up there, and when I go up there and I speak, I'm letting out my emotion. I'm letting out my anger, my thoughts, my viewpoints, if you will. And I don't care if it's popular or not. Let me tell you a little insight. I jump around a lot, and I never really follow any order. It's just not how I am. But our second rally, between the first and the second, was only a week in between there. And I was personally contacted by state GOP in Pennsylvania, and they wanted to take a very big, they took a big interest in what we were doing, and said they were going to come to the Scranton rally, and they enjoyed the Hazelton rally, and we have potential, and, we could go out there, and we could basically be spokespeople, if you will, for a youthful conservative movement with the Republican Party. And to me at the time, it was one of those, dream come true. I've been working with the Republican Party since I was 12 years old, banging signs into the ground and, running around with my pins and my bumper stickers and all that wonderful crap. And I was excited. I'm like, wow, they took notice of what we were doing. Great. And during that week, we got trashed by so many media outlets and, called every name in the book, and it didn't matter. So we get to the Scranton rally, and, we are doing our thing, and we have speakers up there, and then these guys in suits come over to me, and they tell me that I should really tone it down and not allow the speakers to go off topic. The topic needs to be the conservative movement in America. thought about that, and I'm like, why is it exactly that they're trying to tell us what we should or shouldn't say? Now, as I'm looking out in the crowd, I see, a priest leading a whole group of people, a Catholic priest, saying that myself and Mayor Lou Barletta, now Congressman Barletta, are going to burn in hell because Jesus loves the illegal. We saw so many different groups represented saying, hating us, and we had, there was near 1,000 people that were there to be a part of this rally with us. And the people were into it. The people were relating to the message being put out there. And it wasn't just one message of illegal immigration is bad. It was a message of everything, in a nutshell, everything that was facing our country. That was back then in 2007, all right? So I didn't start this under the Obama regime, if you will. So, excuse me. We kept doing our thing, and when I got up there, I was again approached saying that it's up to me to reel it in, not talk about such hot button issues, but rather talk about what we constructively can do on the Republican side to bring people together, get more people registered Republicans, and to save our country going forward. And I was told that I should not talk about September 11th. Now, when I went up there, I'm thinking to myself, who the hell are you to say that I or anybody else can't talk about what matters to us? On 9/11, my family was lost, sacrificed to save other people's lives, and they gave their lives. Just like thousands and thousands of other brave souls that were murdered in cold blood due to a national security breach, due to decades of failure of keeping the American people safe. And I'm being told that I can't talk about this, and I can't address the media with their obvious bias. I can't address, the things I was seeing and feeling. And, I looked out at the people there, and I didn't say or think to myself, like, I'm a nobody, but I'm bigger than all of you because look what I'm putting on, This is our rally. You just attended. No. And they wanted me, they wanted us to own that mentality, to own that belief that this is our show and you're just lucky to attend. You're lucky to be invited. And we're giving you a platform. We don't have to, but we're doing you the favor. And that pissed me off. That pissed me off because we're nobodies. And it's about damn time that the nobodies, quote unquote, have a chance to be heard once and for all. Have a chance to have their fears and their anger and their thoughts addressed in a public forum that wasn't being done. And I stopped. When I was speaking, I just stopped and I was staring out into the sea of people. And you know what? I knew then what I always knew, but it all hit me kind of hardcore at that moment. This is not about, and it never was about me. It wasn't about Andy or Mike or Frank or Renee or anybody that was there in the beginning. It's not about Voice of the People. But maybe it is. It's not about Voice of the People USA, the nonprofit. It's about the voice of the people, period. So, wouldn't that in turn be selling out who and what we are in order to, what, make the rich richer, if you will? To give them something they didn't earn, the trust of the people showing up, to give that to them, to do what? To manipulate them? To control them, to take their money, to get them to register with them? No. So, I stopped, and then when I started to speak again, I told various talk radio DJs to go to hell. I told the Catholic priest leading his flock, now me being a confirmed Catholic, I told him to go to hell. I told the biased media to go to hell. I told the Democrat Party, which was spending lots of money to smear us as just another conservative hit group, I told them to go to hell. And then I turned to those same people that offered us the world, ladies and gentlemen. They offered us everything and anything. I looked at them and I said, if you think that you can control what we are doing, what we have here, these people together as one, united, one voice, if you think that you can control us or control them, or that we are going to be your puppets while you pull the strings, we're going to be your blind sheep, I said, you have another thing coming, because as far as I'm concerned, my loyalties that day and right now and always and forever will remain to every single one of you out there listening, to every single one of you out there that emails, every single one of you that has attended or will attend or is thinking about attending a rally, even to those who hate, that hate what we do. It's all about the freedom to agree or disagree, but damn it, the freedom to be heard. And I told them to go straight to hell and kiss my ass. And I was told then that I just, and I'm quoting here, and I won't be so vulgar tonight, I was told that I just effed my whole political career. Well, that's good. I didn't know I was running for office. I didn't know I was throwing my hat in the race, so to speak. I didn't know that's why I was doing what I was doing. Yeah, if I really wanted to run for office then, right, do you really think I would have picked that issue to go out there and confront head on? Doesn't make you exactly very popular now, does it? But I felt liberated because I saw then the people responded because they appreciated the honesty. And that's coming from me, and I'm a nobody. But you see, together we're something. And that's what I believed. And that's what I still believe. So we had the hardest possible path, because then we have both sides now trying to come down on us and condemn us and everything. Oh, they're not associated with us. They're not associated with us. You know what? You know who we're associated with? All of you. We are part of all of you. We are associated with we the people. And as far as I'm concerned, we are the greatest special interest group, if you will, that the world has ever seen. Because we the people united, we have more power than anybody could ever possibly imagine. So that's a little backstory to that. But from what I've seen, and yeah, I've done a ton of media. I've been on every media outlet there is, literally, in other countries and everything else. And we were received better by other countries than most of the media in America. Go figure, huh? But I guess you'll have that. But when I'm on TV speaking, I'm not self-promoting. You know what I promoted and what I still promote to this day is the fact that regular everyday people have just as much power as the millionaires and billionaires out there that control everything. That all we need is to finally find a way to come together and stand as one and be heard. And face the adversity and the condemnation that goes along with taking a stand for yourself. They hated on us. They attacked us because they were afraid of the fact that we were gathering people at rapid speed. And they didn't like that because they couldn't control us. I don't say us meaning Voice of the People USA, 501c3. I mean us as in all of us together. So yeah, I've done, a lot of media. We all have. And not one time did I think to myself, ooh, I'm going to be on Fox today. I'm going to be on MSNBC. That was fun. I'm going to be on CNN. I'm going to be on the radio. Look at me. Look at me. No. No, 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 no. A lot of people tell others that they're not in it for themselves, and they're lying and they're deceiving you because they want you to believe that so they can manipulate you and bring you in and get your money and guide you to what they want you to believe in order to elect them for something or make them money, if you will. And I've never, ever believed that. And a lot of individuals that I had respect for, that I did look up to at one point, I've seen firsthand firsthand of just how pathetically fake and scumbaggish, if that's a word, they truly are. And it was sad. But you know what? Instead of being down about it and defeated about it, it inspired me more to keep going, to keep doing what we do. We protested the Republican committee meeting in Hershey, Pennsylvania. We've protested everything. Everything and anything. And we'll continue to do so. Because we're coming back again, and it's greater than just illegal immigration. It's every issue. And we will continue to address every issue. Obviously, when the Tea Party movement happened, somebody managed to reel it in and, get a lot of people on one side and make a lot of money. I've never been against the Tea Party in theory, the supporters that go to it, that are holding the rallies or attending the rallies. I've been against the groups like Freedom Works and those big names that are just basically changing their skin, so to speak, to try to appeal to you. Kind of like a John Boehner, I'm just like you, and I'm all about the freedom of America, and blah blah blah. So, change who you are to get to where you want to be, and then go right back to your old ways. I'm not about that. I don't believe in that. I come to you as a 30-year-old man that I think maybe I'm considered middle class by now, possibly. And hello to Steve Sittler. And I'm not quite sure if you'd even consider me middle class or not, but whatever. At the end of the day, I, like all of you out there, we bust our ass to try to achieve the very little we have, to live within our means. And it's not always easy, It's not always easy. But we do what we do because it's what we believe in, and we're trying to survive. So, all I know is none of us have had this air about us that we're better than anybody. And unfortunately, there's so many in the Tea Party higher-ups, if you will, that do believe that. And the reason why I attack them, I'm not just some like leftist attacking the Tea Party or like any of those other jerk-offs out there. No. I attack the theory of raising money, taking all of your money, the people's money, that's hard-earned, asking for your donations, and then paying certain speakers $100,000 just to come and give a 15-minute speech so they can go up there and sell you a version of themselves that they want you to see, to try to make you believe that they are like you. That sickens me. That sickens me more than you could ever possibly imagine, because it's fake. And I am far from perfect. Andy's far from all of us. We're all flawed individuals, We have our highs, we have our lows, Life catches up to us sometimes. Things don't go as planned. It's called reality. But we're regular, everyday people. When we go out and we go across the country to, say, Arizona, and we hold a rally, we're not asking for $1 million to make it happen. We're not asking for, like, Pack needing $25,000 or $50,000 to make a rally happen. Hell no. We paid out of pocket. And that one particular time, yeah, there were donations. The donations paid for maybe a quarter of what the actual cost was. And I am still absolutely taken back by how gracious people were just wanting to help us out. And it was much appreciated because we went broke. I think we're still in debt from that. But it was worth it because we showed what we could do and how it doesn't cost $1 million. Having regular, everyday, dynamic people come up there and speak. Everybody has a chance to be heard. That is the belief. That is the theory behind what Voice of the People is. And people want to know, like, what I've taken And I don't know why, there's been these questions, but I'm cool with answering anything. I don't really care. you know? But what have I taken from the rallies? One was, why haven't I held a rally in so long? And I'll address this. We haven't held a rally since 2010, essentially, when we went to Arizona. And that sucks because I love holding rallies. I love doing what we do more than you could ever possibly know. But that was the last one. And why was it the last one? Because that was a culmination of 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010. That was a culmination of, we didn't need no big DC march. We saw something, and I saw something that day that was amazing. That was incredible. First off, myself and Dan Amato, when we got there, we had 20 speakers, whatever, put on the agenda, stage crew, everybody else doing their thing. It was like an actual event. It was an actual event, people. I mean, there were vendors, there were everything there. And it was surreal, And not once did Dan, did Ruth, did Mike, did Andy, did any of us stop and say, yeah, we did this. This is us. You're coming to our event. No. All of you did that. All of you made that possible. All of you inspire and motivate and drive us to keep doing what we do because you believe in it. You believe in yourselves enough to attend. And come that day, I mean, let me date back again. Me and Andy, and if he does listen to this, because he hears enough of my voice, but nevertheless, if he does listen to this, he'll appreciate it. The night before our first rally in Hazleton at City Hall, we both got off work and we were getting phone calls from local motels and hotels and all these people coming in from different states, and bike groups were there and everything, and it was so cool. And who knew if they were coming to the rally, who knew? But the day of, hours beforehand, we were going to go and set up our own tent, for the cover of the speaking area. But no, we had some people volunteer to do it, and they set it up. So hours before anything went down, we were driving around Hazleton, just kind of lost in a moment, if you will, and driving past City Hall, looking at that tent, that awning, if you will, and the speakers being set up, it was like, wow, that's finally happening. But that wasn't what got me. That wasn't what got me at all. That would be materialistic, so to speak. What got me was, we were 4.5 hours before the start of the rally, and there was over 100 people literally camped out on the sidewalks, on the streets in front of City Hall. And all I wanted to do is jump out of the car and go talk to everybody, but I couldn't, and the road shut down yet, so we had to keep driving. But that was just the sickest, most amazing thing in the world, that people have shown up. Little did I know that hours later there'd be thousands, but just seeing those people there, it hit you. What do? We parked, and the media was there, and they want to get interviews. Well, we went right past them. We didn't give a damn about the interviews. No, I wanted to go out there and talk to the people and thank them for coming and hear what they had to say. And it wasn't about thanking me or thanking Andy or thanking Mike. It was about us thanking them because they came to be a part of something, and that meant everything to all of us, but especially to me. So that was a sight. That was something that I take with me. And when it all came together and the rally went off, I mean, so many people came from so far away. And there were so many great moments that day. But after the rally ended, just being able to stand out with everybody and talk to everybody. We were there for hours talking to people. And we're being told by the state police we've got to go because there's threats against us and blah, blah, blah. None of that crap mattered. What mattered more was hearing from everybody else, hearing from everybody that took time out of their lives to be a part of that. That was amazing to me. That's one of those awe-inspiring moments, you know? And that feeling continued with every city, with every town, with every state, everywhere we went. It was just not, oh, look at how many cameras are here. You know, look at how many people want to take pictures with us. And again, I'll never understand that because we're not anybody. But it was that sense of people coming together more and more and more. The more adversity that was thrown our way, the more people came out. They saw beyond the BS, you know, you're racist, you're haters, you're this, you're that. They saw past that and saw it for what it was. And they wanted to be a part of it. They wanted to be a part of something more. They rose above all that. And that to me was freaking amazing. So, fast forward years later, Arizona. I mean, the day before, areas being barricaded off and, you know, being sectioned off, and then we're talking, 7 hours before the event, and there's tons and tons and tons of people there. And we had hundreds and hundreds of bikers coming in from all across the country. And me and Dan and Mike, we were asked where we want to speak. You know, it's our rally. And we all collectively said it's not our rally. It's their rally. It's the people's rally. It's for every one of you out there that attended. It's about you, not us. So we said, we're not talking. Did we come 2,000 plus miles to be there? Yeah, we did. But it wasn't about us. It was about this driving force that brought people together. That's what was amazing to me. And, you know, for so long, I always wear a black suit when I'm out there doing these things because I feel like, you know, try to look like, you know, professional or whatever. It was just some stupid theory. I have tattoos on my arms. And everybody told me, don't show your tattoos because you give the critics more to attack you for. I mean, come on. How stupid. What the hell did I know? And that day I wore a short sleeve shirt because, damn it, it was 112 degrees. Thousands of people stood outside for 10, 12 hours in 112 degree heat. I also learned don't hold rallies at that time of the year in a place like Arizona, but you live and learn. But I wore short sleeves and I just walked into the crowd with everybody else. And people were pissed about that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, people were like, you know, we need the Dans to say, you know, who's going where. We need the Dans to approve this, to approve that, to explain this, to explain that. It was just, and maybe that was a little ignorant on our end, but I just wanted to be out there. And so many people didn't even know who the hell I was. They figured it out. It was my ugly ass face and Dan's face. We were plastered all over the newspapers and crap, but I loved it. I loved being in the crowd with those people. When I saw the bikes coming, when they surrounded the state capitol, they did two rides, if you will, around the state capitol, and then just surrounded it. I'm running like an idiot across the field with my phone taking pictures, you know? I was like a little kid going to like WrestleMania or something. It was just a surreal moment. Like, look at this. Look at this. People have shown up and they're fighting for something. They're there to take a stand for something. Yeah, that was the Arizona, you know, SB 1070 and, you know, that whole thing, which is very important, we support, yes, but it was people from all walks of life, from so many different states that came just as far. We had people from New Jersey, New York there, from Pennsylvania like us, from Ohio, from Montana, from Florida, from Texas, from California, I mean, literally Everybody was represented. We had people from England there, people from Japan there, from Australia, because they wanted to be a part of something. And that to me was just so freaking incredible. That's better than I'm going to get 10 minutes on Fox News. They're going to be broadcasting live from our rally. We're going to get on TV. We're going to be on Rush Limbaugh. None of that crap matters. None of that crap matters. What matters is being able to be a part of that with everybody. And that to me was so cool. Was so incredibly mind-numbing in the best possible way. Because we got to be a part of it with everyone for the spectacle of what it looks like when thousands of people, not brought together by the big elitist groups, if you will, saying to everybody, you need to be here on this day, the blah, 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 blah. No. Regular people taking time out of their lives to be a part of this event, to send a message, to send a strong visual, the show of force from peaceful people gathering peacefully, but taking a stand for the rule of law and of love of their country. And that to me is one of the greatest gifts I could have ever received. But then something else happened. And I don't talk about this because it's never my place, but I also have other emails, again, asking along these same lines, wanting to know, my personal feelings. I guess because some people hear me on these podcasts and they hear me angry all the time, and I'm yelling, and I am angry. I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off about what people allow to happen, and I want to see people be empowered and feel strong enough and believe in themselves enough to stand up regardless of whatever your political beliefs are, but to realize something is wrong and not allow yourselves to be controlled. That's why I get pissed. So I guess because of how I present myself and how I come across, people want to see what actually makes me tick, so to speak, and what I take out of things. So I'm going to talk about what hit me the most. And it's emotional to me. It's not fake emotion. It's none of that crap. I didn't practice before saying this or plan this out. I'm going to speak from the heart. And I'm going to tell you about what affected me the deepest. And I don't mean in any way to undermine anything else. But I'm going to go into what really hit me, and got to me straight to the core, so to speak. So I'm going to take a quick musical break, because I love my music, and I'll be back in just a couple minutes, and I'm going to get into that because I want to share that with all of you, and I want to share that with all the people that did take the time to send those emails. And again, I appreciate that more than you could ever possibly know. So I hope you'll stick with me. We have a lot of people listening live yet again, and I am most appreciative. And feel free to join the chat room. I am not very active on there. Steve is in there, Mr. Steve Sittler, and I really haven't done a damn thing because it's hard when you're talking to a microphone and looking at that. But still, feel free to check in, say hi, and back in a couple minutes. And of course, this is Dan Spreaker of Voice of the People USA and Voice of the People USA Radio and America Rising, coming to you live on Spreaker, Spreaker.com/VOP USA Radio. Follow us, like us on Facebook, Voice of People USA Radio fan page, and of course, the returning, the big one, if you will, blogtalkradio.com/VOPUSA for the return of Voice of the People USA Radio, the live call-in, live chat room, live everything returning to the airwaves. Follow us. Like us. Whatever it is. Check in on Spreaker's show wall like Matt did. I appreciate that. Say hi. Let me know you're out there. But we'll be back in just a little bit around the 4-minute mark as I take a quick break and go into what will be a deep expression, if you will, or I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly, but me expressing myself in a deeper format, and I will inevitably end it after that. I won't ramble on and on, but I'm sure it's not going to be short either, so bear with me. And I'm sorry for those who actually like, and there are some out there that actually like when I yell and I scream and I get angry. Believe me, that's for tomorrow night and the night after the night after. There'll be plenty of time for that. But this is something different. This podcast is something different to give everybody a little bit of insight into, who I am and what all of us stand for, what we're about, and what makes us tick, so to speak. So I hope you'll join me. We're back in about 4 minutes, and you are listening live on Spreaker.com/VOPUSA Radio. Be right back.
Looking inside, digging in
I can't understand why my life would warrant discussion or gossip. My conquests and accomplishments are minimal. It's like some new false language created. I just can't understand.
Maybe I wasn't really listening, and you see I don't speak for the sake of speaking. I speak from the heart. My words reveal me. That's why I have nothing to say to you.
It's amusing you consider yourself some great reward. Oh, so beautiful, so precious, astounding.
Well, there's your loud music in the early morning. You know, it's a thing I do to make sure you're all still awake and all still listening. That was a little bit of Submerse, followed by some Kilgore, and that makes me happy always. But I must say that I'm having fun with this, and it's nice to actually have a conversation. And I assure you, as many of my friends and co-hosts will find out, and for anybody that would enter the chat room, you see me and Steve chatting back and forth. Well, that's because I suck at returning text messages and emails sometimes, and I admit that. Life gets in the way, work becomes busy and monotonous and everything else. So, see? I'll own my faults live in front of everybody else. And, you know, let me just say, Steve, that's in the chat room right now and will be a co-host with Voice of the People USA Radio. There's somebody who I genuinely respect, and he's some of the good people out there that have actually, you know, that I've had the pleasure of meeting and actually cares about what's going on in this country and is angry like you and I and is passionate about doing something about fixing the problem. And, you know, him being younger than me, as most people are, I'm starting to feel up there now. You know, it's refreshing to see that. And even though I've been kind of incommunicado for a while with a lot of people, again, life happens, you know, for all of you out there, and a lot of people that have emailed me, and, you know, the very few that I actually call true friends, you know, I humbly apologize for falling off the radar for a while. And believe me, Steve, you're not the only one. You know, stuff happens, man. And I understand that completely. So it'll be nice to bring this full circle and get everybody, you know, good people that are in this for the right reasons, that are in it because they care, and in it because they know what matters and what's most important, back on track and back doing what we do. And that falls in line with the conversation I've been having with all of you. And again, it's not easy to just sit here and talk into a microphone, I assure you. This is why the radio show, I like, you know, I like when, you know, people call up and engage you a little bit and you have other people to talk to. It's a little bit difficult in this format. So for those who do bear with me, again, I thank you for that. And I hope I'm doing all right. But if not, hey, I'm just being true to myself. So, of course, this is Dan Spriglio, Voice of People USA Radio, Voice of People USA. We've gone through that a million times. I don't really need to repeat it over and over and over again. It's an old habit that dies hard from when we did have our AM radio show that was syndicated on FM as well and was picked up in various states. This whole station identification, identify who you are, do the plugs, do this, do that. And I don't like being controlled like that. I don't like conforming to that. You know, just not what I'm about. What I'm about is basically what this show has been about, because I feel it is fair to address a lot of new listeners and a new amount of followers that we've picked up that, you know, doing these podcasts. And, you know, a lot of our old time listeners are obviously still a part of it, but there's been a lot of new people. And I've been discussing, you know, what gets to me, what affects me emotionally, you know, and what I've taken out of what we've done. And I still will get back to why we haven't had any rallies since 2010. But I want to go back to that day in Arizona and what gets me. Now, I love the anonymity of it all. You know, for those few minutes that I was out there, just a regular person being a part of that crowd and being a part of that atmosphere, it was nice to not be noticed because I shouldn't be noticed, because I'm nothing more than somebody speaking my thoughts out loud and trying to bring people together to do the same thing. I'm not a figurehead. I'm not somebody of notoriety. I'm just a regular person. I know more than a lot of people. I'll admit that. I don't have very high self-esteem. I don't have an ego. But I'll admit that much. I've seen that, unfortunately. I do know a lot more than a lot of people. And there's also 10 times as many people who know a lot more than me. And whether they agree with me or disagree with me, I can honestly admit that. And every day I learn. I learn something new from so many people that I meet and so many people that affect my life on an everyday, everyday life, But after a little bit at Arizona, at the rally, Phoenix, people realized who I was. And then your anonymity is lost, so to speak, and you're getting pulled in many different directions. And this is actually something that I don't speak about, because it's those moments that you keep inside, and you hold on to them deep. But I want to share them with all of you, because I think it's important to know, the people that you subscribe to or follow. And I hate saying that. I hate calling anybody a follower of what we do. It's not about that. And I hope you get that. And I hope you understand that. But you're a part of this, what I call a family, You're a part of this movement of this idea of togetherness and unity. And I want you to have an understanding of who I am anyway. Not just what you Google and see from, various scumbag groups or whatever. Somebody came and got me and said that there were a group of gentlemen that came in from 6 states combined, and they wanted to meet me and shake my hand and say thank you. Now, when I hear that, right there, I'm thinking to myself, why? Why? Why do you want to thank me? There's nothing to thank me for. There's nothing to, say to me. I'm a nobody. I want to thank everybody that comes to these rallies, And believe me, I bust my ass and try to as much as humanly possible. But nevertheless, I get brought over there, and here these guys are. And the one gentleman said to me, he said, I'd stand up and shake your hand and give you a hug. But unfortunately, as you can see, I'm not able to do that. This gentleman was a Vietnam vet who lost both of his legs in battle. And with him were vets from Korea, from Nam, and one gentleman was a World War II veteran. And they wanted to thank me. This is what we call dead air. I'm surprised. I'm surprised how it's actually hard to talk about this, because I'm kind of back in that mindset, what I felt at that moment. And let me just say to you that these people, and there were many more groups like them, but them wanting to thank me, I literally almost collapsed, and I took my hat. I was wearing a hat, and I went over there and I hugged all these guys and I shook their hands and I said that there's not enough words to say to extend my gratitude and my appreciation and my thanks to all of them, and how they don't have to thank anybody and we should always thank them. And the one gentleman got teary-eyed and said that he has some faith again when he sees all these great people coming out and bearing the heat, and it makes him feel like maybe he fought for something. And people that, hearing that and being there at that moment, I can't tell you how much that put, and I didn't need it, but it really just concreted, if you will. It sealed the deal, maybe. I don't know. It really put everything into the greatest perspective ever, that this right here, this is what it's about. And a whole bunch of people saw these guys and they started doing the USA chants and honoring them, which is what we should always do. Always do to all our brave men and women in the armed forces, to always thank them and honor them for what they sacrifice. And that was such a moment to think that these people, I don't have these heroes, these idols, or these people that I really look up to. I look up to the anonymous heroes, if you will. I look up to all those that have come before and have fought and sacrificed and gave to give us the right to do what we do, the right to say what I'm saying right now, the right to live our lives every single day as a citizen of the absolute greatest country in the world. And damn straight, that's American exceptionalism 1,000,000%. And I am damn proud to call myself an American, and I am damn proud to forever, to this day, be humbled and be rendered speechless when I think of those guys and so many others that I've met since then. Men, women that have sacrificed for our country. That was the absolute greatest honor for me, to be there at that moment, to see those people. And I was told by a few of them that they haven't come out to any of the other rallies. At that time, the Tea Party rallies were, big and in full swing. And they said they haven't come out to them because they don't believe in the message. They believe in the idea and the principles, but they don't believe in the ones delivering the message. So that's why it's not just me saying that. There's a lot of people out there that say that, and it is unfortunate. But this was the first rally they have attended that wasn't a VFW function, and first event, if you will, Memorial Day parades. But that was such a moment. And then after that, I was carted off again because somebody else wanted to meet me and say thank you, and I couldn't even utter the words, about don't thank us, don't thank me. And I got there, and it was a group of such strong people from the local ARC. And these were handicapped adults. And, various handicaps, mental handicaps, things of that nature. And the one guy, his name was Max. He couldn't walk. He couldn't hold a pen. Yeah. And he's confined to, obviously, his wheelchair. But he likes seeing the videos of our rallies on YouTube. It made him happy and kept him calm. And they decided that they wanted to attend this event. And I swear to you that they were as engaged as every single other person out there. And they were into the rally. They were into the message. And they liked being there. And Max told me that, and I hate saying this word, and I hated hearing it from him, but he's able to talk. And he said to me, and I quote, "Retarded people aren't usually allowed at these events." Now, one, I hate that word, retarded. And I wanted to be clearly known and clearly illustrated that people with mental handicaps and physical handicaps and things of that nature, to me, they're some of the strongest and bravest individuals in the world. And I admire their strength. I admire them, and I look up to them as well, as much as I do veterans, because of their willingness to fight and to always persevere and never let what they're facing, what they're enduring, hold them down, hold them back. And I told him, I said that the only people who think like that are the ones that don't know what it is to have even an ounce of the courage and strength that you and your friends have. And, you know, I hugged him and I gave him the pin off of my shirt because he liked it. And I know this really isn't compelling radio or podcasting to a lot of people, but that, I mean, seeing that is just something that you can never understand unless you're there, unless you are able to feel that, to witness that. And as soon as I think that, you know, the impact has been so tremendously laid upon me, if you will, I met a Make-A-Wish teenager who wanted to be there at the event, suffering from leukemia. And Make-A-Wish wanted to be there at that rally. Never been to any event before. And I think he had, forgot the exact number, something along the lines of 60 operations and everything else. And, you know, wanted nothing more than to be there at that moment because believed in what was going on there. And one of his wishes was so minimal and so minuscule to be at a rally like that, but it's what he wanted. And how can I or anybody else sit there and pretend that we're anything when you have all these brave souls that have attended this event with all the condemnation, all the crap that comes along with it, and all the rhetoric and the name-calling that we don't do, that the other side, or whatever the hell you want to call it, wants to throw on us. I don't give a damn about any of that. these people, some of the strongest people that I have met to date and have left a lasting impression on my life, they were there because they wanted to be there. And they showed their own bravery and their own strength. And that hit me. Not to be outdone, we had people, working with 9/11 Families for a Secure America. They also have a victims group, if you will, of people that have been, subject to crimes, been victims of crimes, assaults, rapes, attempted murder. There was a group of people that have never been to any public event at all that were, victimized in most heinous ways, and there they were. Reclusive individuals, there they were. It wasn't about how many media cameras were there, because I assure you not one camera picked up on those moments, not picked up on those individuals. They didn't focus on that, no. They focused on everything else. Not that. The story shouldn't have been about who came from where and who says this about these people or whatever the case may be. The story should be about the great Americans and the great people who overcame more adversity than most of you and I could ever possibly know. With disabilities, mental, physical, otherwise, that all these different things impacting their lives, but yet there they are facing death. Yet there they were. That, to me, I knew after I met all these people. And yeah, I got dragged up on stage along with Dan Amato, and we spoke briefly and got off. We didn't need to stay up there on stage. And out of all the things that hit me and affected me that day, those memories that I just shared with all of you, that I don't share with many at all, those are the ones that made me know, in my heart of hearts, I knew then that you can't top this. And maybe you can one day, who knows? But this is what it was about. This is what it has always been about. Bringing people from all walks of life together. The people that are overlooked, the people that are surpassed, the people that, are looked down upon. That pisses me off. But nevertheless, people that, their thoughts, their words, their feelings, they don't matter. Because they fall into this class. No, everybody falls into the same class. We are all citizens of this country. And we all have a voice. And I assure you that seeing something like that hit me in a way that you can never, and maybe you can, but you can never really understand unless you were there to experience it. And I knew as all these rallies were going on across the country for Obamacare, for this, for that, with, the Tea Party rallies being held every week and this and that. Unfortunately, I knew that what we were doing was being tarnished because we were told by some of the elitist scumbags that run some of the big Tea Party groups, if you will, and again, I go back predominantly to Freedom Works, that our groups that all came together to, collectively be a part of this and all the rallies we've done, our message has no bearing on any Tea Party, and we're not welcome. Now, I know that's just one schmuck saying something to somebody else, but you know what? I knew then an unfortunate truth that a lot of good people were going to be manipulated and lied to and used as pawns. And I knew then that the beauty of what we had started, and what we not started. That sounds wrong. And I know I really got to choose my words, but I hope that, for those who know me or those that are listening or familiar with me, that I'm being heartfelt here. I don't always say the right things or politically correct things or whatever, but this doesn't come from a place of egotism or, this need to be known by the world. I speak to you from a place of absolute blunt honesty. I knew that the thing that we were a catalyst for, if you will, that it's being infringed upon and people are being taken advantage of. And we could either continue to try to coexist and be that alternative or go a different route. Because on the public stage, so to speak, with rallies or the rally, whatever you want to call it, the grassroots level, to me, that was our ultimate victory. That was our DC march. Because we reached out to so many different people, and they came to be a part of it. And we didn't ask anything of them to be a part of it, just that they show up and feel the power of what it is to be involved with something. To know that you're accepted, and you're appreciated, and you're respected. I knew that it was time to stop holding rallies for a while. And some people thought that was like a prick move. Quite honestly, we weren't burned out. I mean, financially, yeah, we were drained. We had no money. But would have gladly kept going. But we're not going to compete with these other forces, if you will, that are trying to win your time and attention when all we want and all I want is for everybody to stand up for themselves and not be guided by anybody. So a hiatus from that environment was necessary. And we decided then to launch Voice of the People USA Radio. We went to the airwaves, did something different, and been engaged with all of you and quite one hell of an audience for quite some time. It was a different way of putting out a different message, and we received a lot of hate. Not from critics this time, but from people not understanding why, I was saying these things I was saying about like Freedom Works and groups like that. And fast forward to all these years later, a lot of people out there are coming to terms with the fact that they were used, they were manipulated, that they were lied to, that they were bled dry, if you will, of their money. Sorry, I'm making some noise on my mic there. And we didn't need to be vindicated or somebody to say, you were right, we were wrong. It's not about that. It's about knowing when the right time for the right thing is. And I believed in 2007 that it was the right time for something new and something different to come together. And I believed it every year following that. And believe me, I wanted to be out there. I wanted to be doing what we do. And it has killed me being away from it. Not away. We've always been in tune, obviously, what's going on. We've done these podcasts, the radio shows, everything else. It's not like we've gone away and faded away. But I knew it was time then to stop for a bit. I didn't think it would be over 3 years until we came back out, but it's what it was. And it is what it is, Yeah, we're relaunching the radio show. These podcasts have been going on for a couple of years now, and I'm off and on with them. Work and life gets in the way. But This is our time. This is our moment to not take advantage of a whole bunch of people that feel dejected and removed. No. This is our time to put something else out there that's an alternative to what we see and feel every single day. This is our moment forthcoming as we get ready to return to holding rallies and holding events and protests and things of that nature. It's our time to reach out to all of you and say, you're welcome here. I don't want you to show up and be an attendee. I want you to stand side by side with myself and all of us as one. I want you to be heard. I want you to believe in yourself. To believe that what you think and what you feel is important and it matters. And I want to give you that chance to be heard. And the America Rising initiative that I've alluded to for so long, that's what this is about. It's about America rising up as one. Coming from broken politics, broken whatever, being deceived, everything else. Do you fall by the wayside? Do you submit? Do you give in? Or do you rise up stronger and more united than ever before? I believe that's what we can do. And I could be proven dead wrong. It's trial by fire, friends. But regardless, it's worth taking that risk. And I see by all the people that listen to these podcasts and listen to the radio shows and send these emails and everything else, I see there's a lot of you out there that are waiting for something different. And I can't say that we're going to be that different, that alternative that, you're going to flock to and feel that you're a part of. You may not. You may not share these beliefs and you may not want to have anything to do with us, but maybe you feel empowered to do your own thing. Good. We're not trying to spearhead a movement to steal anybody's thunder. What I've always wanted since I thought of Voice of the People in 2006, actually, all I've wanted to see was everybody standing up for themselves rather than backing down or feeling so oppressed or suppressed and not knowing what they can do to be heard, to be seen, to be noticed, to feel like they matter. And that is what I and all of us are intending to bring to all of you once again. You're not going to see high-priced, big-name speakers at our events. You will see big-name speakers at our events, but they will not be there because we took your money and paid them a fee and paid for their airfare and paid for their hotels. No. You want to come and speak to the people of this country? You want to come and speak to the people who attend and are part of, not just attendees, but are a part of what we do out there on the ground. You had better be genuine and be sincere and have the right intent, because if not, whether it be on a podcast, whether it be on a radio show, whether it be live at an actual rally, or in the other formats that are forthcoming, I swear to you, we will tear you down and expose you for the hypocritical fraud bastards that you are. Because I am sick and tired of being lied to myself, and I know that all of you out there deserve more. You deserve better. I'm not saying I'm the better. Andy's the better that you need. We're not what you need. What you have inside of you is all that you need. And we want to give you the opportunity to come be a part of something greater. To stand as one. And I don't like being somebody who uses other people's terminology. But sometimes it applies. To know that you're not alone. And not everybody is a mindless drone, an idiot, a conformist. Not everybody buys into what they're sold and what they're force-fed every single day. We, the free-thinking people of this country, we have a voice, and it doesn't matter if we're registered to vote or not registered to vote. If we consider ourselves somebody on the right or the left or the middle or whatever the hell we think that we are, we have a right to be heard because we are citizens of the greatest country in the world, hands down. This government is screwing us and burying us every single day more and more, infringing on our freedoms, destroying our sovereignty, raping the ideals of what this country was supposed to be. And it's easy to point the finger at one man. And believe me, he's responsible for a lot of damage and a lot of evil. But as equally responsible is, that made sense, but the Republicans in Congress and the Senate, as well as the Democrats in the Congress and the Senate, are just as responsible as he is. We have been lied to, deceived, manipulated from the top down and from the bottom up. We have been victims of assaults on our fears, on our anger, on our passion from these groups that pop up and claim to be something else, but yet they have an agenda. And they mask it. They hide it just so they could deceive and manipulate. I assure you that Voice of the People USA is about all of you. And wherever we go and whatever we do, cameras are going to show up. The media is going to show up. That's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a guarantee, though. Because of the stigma. Because of what we've been labeled. Because of everything. They show up. So, just like I tell everybody to go on Facebook and like the radio fan page. I hate Facebook, but it's a tool that we use. So when these cameras show up, when the media shows up and you're at this event, any event that we're going to have going forward, we're going to take those hypocritical, lying, deceiving bastards in the media, anybody with a camera, and we're going to show them the best of America. We're going to show them the best of activism done right, with genuine intent. And we will use that format and we will tear down anybody that deceives and lies. Because if we don't, then we're allowing the shit cycle to continue, if you will. And I will not be a part of that. And I'm pretty sure none of you will be either. So, with that, I hope I answered or at least explained better, why I do what I do. Why I do what I do. The why is the same reason why you sent that email. Why you asked those questions. Why you listen to this podcast, listen to this radio show. Whatever it may be. It's that same fire that burns inside of me. We are the same. Regardless of our beliefs. Regardless of our life experiences. We are the same. Because we're one. and we're part of something greater than ourselves. And I'm not just feeding you lines. I'm not good at that. I'm not good with authority telling me what I can or can't do. Believe me. But I'm an advocate for standing your ground and speaking from your heart and taking a stand for what you believe in. Because as long as you take that stand, whether you know it or not, and with some of you, whether you like it or not, you're also taking a stand for America because you're defending and upholding and utilizing our rights as citizens of this country. So why I do what I do. Can best be defined as I don't even know how to define it anymore. I think I've explained it enough. I think I've gone there enough, if you will. The why is simple. If you care enough about what you see that's wrong, if you care enough about the hardships that you or your loved ones or your friends have to endure, if you think that something needs to be done, should be done, or question why something isn't being done, then that why is the same for you and I. I'm more vocal about it. But what I want is for all of you to be just as vocal as me, just as vocal as all of us, and stand as one, and break down that finger-pointing crap, the side split, if you will. I'm tired of the 90 million registered voters. I want to know what the 230 million other people who aren't registered to vote have to say. I want everybody to come together as one and find that commonality and find that common ground and do what we are destined to do as citizens of this country. Whether we agree or disagree, or agree to disagree, it's those who are willing to take that stand and bring that fight, and then it's those who are too afraid or don't care enough. I, like all of you, choose to care, choose to act, choose to stand up, speak out, and be a part of something greater than ourselves. So I hope that makes sense to you. I hope that you didn't mind my fairly docile conversation tonight. Conversation with myself and all of you. And for those who are still listening, and there's a lot of you, which always amazes me, I hope you're able to bear, and, well, I thank you for bearing with me. And I hope you were able to not get too nauseous as I got a little emotional there. But damn it, I'm a real person, like all of you, with real emotions, with real thoughts, real fears, real passion. I sacrificed my anonymity. I sacrificed who I am, my very name, and it's an ugly-ass name, I'll admit it. But regardless, I gave that up because I decided years ago to dedicate my existence to giving everyone the chance to be heard across the board equally. And that's not some self-martyr talk. That's not some pity me or feel for me or admire me crap. That's just honest. I haven't gotten jobs because of what I do. I've been condemned and hated and chastised and hundreds of thousands of death threats and everything else because of what I do. But I ask them, what do I do? Do they know? They assume. They have no clue. Nobody asked that question. I am more than happy to have sacrificed who I am, name-wise, namesake, whatever the hell you want to call it. So all those cameras can come to our events, not my events, our events, and they can come with the sole purpose of attacking. But what they're not going to get is a rise out of any of us. They're going to come with one intent, but be forced to see the power of people together, and we use their own tools against them. I don't regret anything, not 1 second of what we've done together. I don't regret it at all. I believe in this. I believe in what's to come, because I believe in the power of all of you and all of us together as one. Now, I will finally shut up. But I'm going to end with that wonderful identification crap, but I hope that you all took something from this, for those of you who don't know me. I wanted you to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak, and get a better understanding into what makes me tick, what I see, what I feel, what I think. And if that helps you, great. If it makes you hate me more, great. At least I know at the end of the day, I'm being honest with myself and with all of you. And I'm alright with that. So with that, I can't say for certain tomorrow night. I think tomorrow night I'm going to do another podcast. And I'll probably go right back to the loud, screaming, passionate man, Dan. Because that's what I do. But it's also important sometimes just to talk and have a conversation with everybody and give you a little bit of deeper insight into what it is that fuels me, that fuels everybody I'm involved with, and to help you understand what even fuels yourself. With that, I am Daniel Smariglio. Told you that name's ugly. President and founder of Voice of the People USA, Voice of People USA Radio, America Rising. Please follow us. Leave us messages on Spreaker.com/VOP USA Radio. Go and listen to past episodes, archived episodes, the new soft release, if you will, of Voice of the People USA Radio on Blog Talk Radio. That's blogtalkradio.com/VOP USA, blogtalkradio.com/VOP USA. Get ready for the big return of that next week, this Sunday night at 7 o'clock. Facebook, type in the search little thingy box there. Voice of the People USA Radio fan page. Like it. Hate it. Whatever you want. Email VOPUSAlive@gmail.com. VOPUSAlive@gmail.com. Questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, love mail, hate mail, whatever it is, send it. Your words matter. I thank you all. I thank you for everybody who listened live. I thank you, Steve, in the chat room. I thank you to all of you who care enough to actually take the time to, if nothing else, love me or hate me. I'm nothing more than a messenger. To take the time to reflect and look inside a little bit and think about what it is that I'm truly saying. As always, I'm going to leave you with some loud music with that, God bless you all. God bless America always and forever. And we will see you, or I will see you. Yeah, screw it. I'll see you tomorrow night. I have to. I got a lot more to say. Take care. Have a great day. Have a great night. I'm going to go sleep for about 2.5 hours and get up and go to work. Yeah! And it'll be a balmy, what, like 13 degrees today or 10 degrees today? Truly, further indication of global warming. Anyway, have a good night, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
there for me. I'm pain, I'm hope, I'm suffer. Yeah, ain't no mercy there for me. Do you bury me when I'm gone? Do you teach me while I'm here? Just as soon as I belong, then it's time I disappear. Then I went on down that road. Then I went on down that road. I'm pain, I'm hope, I'm suffer. And I went on down that road. Bury me when I'm gone. Do you teach me while I'm here? Just as soon as I belong, then it's time I disappear. Do you bury me when I'm gone? Do you teach me while I'm here? Just as soon as I belong, then it's time I disappear. Do you bury me when I'm gone? Do you teach me while I'm here? Just as soon as I belong, then it's time I disappear. Do you bury me when I'm gone? Do you teach me while I'm here? Just as soon as I belong, then it's time I disappear.
Shotgun shine, shade my body, bone in the red sound, blue moon in your eyes, yeah. You got a blue moon in your eyes, so sad. Goddamn shade my body. Got a blue moon in your eyes, yeah. Yeah, I know it. You just can't help yourself.